ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हुकुम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम्. Wonderful. Thank you all for joining today. So, let me share this. Let me share my entire screen, or maybe let me share this mind map. Can you see the diagram?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so we are on. You can see that as well, Roji, right? We are on chapter two, which is entitled I forgot the title of this chapter. Here's the journal. In the first stage of devotion, and then in that we actually covered that there are three categories of devotional service. We studied this one, at least the first two paragraph. So there are three. One is devotional service in practice, devotional service in ecstasy, and devotional service in pure love. These are the three things we discussed previously last week. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami is expanding the first one, which is devotional service and practice, and he is expanding that, which is one has to engage the mind and senses in Krishna's service. That is called as devotional service and practice, because the world we are living in, and then the conditioning we are carrying, and conditioning is basically the same. Those six anarthas we talked about, right? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mat, Matsarya, right? So those six anarthas have captured us. Three modes of material nature have captured us, and under the influence of all these things, we are covered. Our consciousness is covered, and we think on the platform of body. Everything in connection with the body is actually mind, right? We can't understand at the platform of soul. That's why we cannot actually engage our mind and senses in Krishna's service, because mind is mapped, or mind is conditioned to think materially, mind is conditioned to think on the bodily platform, and senses are always thinking about bodily platform. Like yesterday we had Narsinga Chaturdashi, right? We had Narsinga Chaturdashi, we were fasting till evening, till dusk. Very difficult, very difficult. Well, and I was still drinking water, but there were devotees who did not drink water since morning. And I was just thinking about this while there was a drama, and I was playing the role of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu stood on one leg for thousands of years. I wasn't able to even stand on one leg for more than 2 minutes. Not even 1 minute. So what kind of austerity? Our austerity is meager. What to talk about, forget about eating, sleeping, and whatever other things are there, right? So, with that conditioning, it is very difficult to engage the mind and senses in Krishna's service. And that is the most important aspect. So, that's why you sometimes see, oh, I can't chant, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. Who is saying I can't do it? It's a mind who is saying I can't do it. It's a mind who says, I can't do it. But somehow we restrain our mind, we control our mind, and engage that mind and sense in Krishna's service. That is called as devotional service in practice. It is also called as sadhana bhakti. Now, again, sadhana bhakti is divided into two categories. One is called as Vaidhi Bhakti, second is called as RaghaNuga Bhakti. What is, and we will read through those paragraphs. I'm just running this through what we will be studying so that you have a 360 or bird's eye view of what we are going to discuss, right? So Vaidhi Bhakti is according to regulative principles. What does that mean? I'm supposed to wake up early in the morning, I'm supposed to take a bath, and I'm supposed to apply the tilak. Again, I'm just using the word supposed to, right? Not that I like to. Nobody wants to wake up early in Mangla Arti time, right? Like I was just remembering one of the class where this is early days of SCON, right? So people would think that if they are failure in their life, they will actually they will come to the ashram, become brahmachari. So there was one person who was a very who was a businessman. Then he wound up a business and he said, I want to take a brahmachari. I want to become brahmachari. So he joined the temple. So what did happen is he went to the leader. He said, why do we have a Mangla Arti at 5 a.m.? We should have Mangla Arti at 10 a.m. Right? So what happens is we carry our conditioning, right? We carry our conditioning. So when we talk about engaging the mind and senses, when we come back to sadhana bhakti, we do it because we are supposed to do it. We follow four regulative principles because we are told to do that. We do 16 rounds because we are committed to do that. Not that I'm doing it from my heart, right? Not that I'm doing from my heart, right? And second kind of bhakti is RaghaNuga Bhakti. What kind of RaghaNuga Bhakti is? A spontaneous loving service, which means everything is done out of love, not out of compulsion. That is called as RaghaNuga Bhakti. I'll give you example about both the things. So we all know about Mrigrari, who was a hunter. He was killing animals half dead. Narada Muni one time, this is very beautifully mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is actually the whole biography of Lord Chaitanya, very beautiful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So Narada Muni came there and he saw first one deer, half dead. He was just literally, because he was not dead, he wasn't alive. Then he went little few steps side, he saw another animal. Then went few steps side, he saw another animal, not dead, not alive, just, I don't know what is the right word, but struggling extremely. This is arrow is there, it's not able to die and all this stuff. So Narada Muni was very sad seeing the situation, and he actually started thinking who is there, and he actually searched, and then he saw there was this hunter behind. And this hunter, because that's a culture, when you see the sadhu, you bow down. So he bowed down there, and then when he bowed down, he asked, what are you doing? He said, I'm this. But why are you making them half dead? Why don't you kill them? He said, my father taught me like that. He said, do you know what is the implication of that? He said, no. He said, each and every animal you are killing, in each and every life, they will come to kill you. And this is the same result one gets when someone eats the meat, because we are killing those animals. So it's a similar principle. So Mrigrari realized and he said, oh my goodness, I never thought that way. Can you help me? What should I do now? So Narada Muni says, you break this bow. He said, how can I break that bow? Because I have to run my, right? I have to maintain my family. He said, Krishna maintains us, not we maintain ourselves. So you go, you break this, go to your wife, convince her, and then you start chanting the mantra of whatever mantra he has given it. I don't know if it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, maybe I'm recollecting. So he said, you chant this mantra and I will provide you everything. You follow this principle. So He went convinced his wife, and the whole family actually became sadhu, and they were actually just chanting the name of Krishna. And then the all villagers, they got to know about, oh, this Mrigrari was killing everyone. He became a Vaishnav. So they were providing him breakfast, lunch, dinner. But Narada Muni put another condition. What he said? Only take however much you need for a day. He wouldn't keep and store it. There was no concept of fridge or anything like that for him. So he said, okay. And that's how he started practicing. And one day, Narada Muni was there, and Narada Muni left from there. And one day, after few months or few years, Narada Muni was talking to Parvata Muni. Narada Muni said, I'm going to Prithvi planet. Would you like to come? Parvata Muni said, yeah, please, I will join with you. And Narada Muni came with Parvata Muni, and he came to the same forest where Mrigrari was killing those animals. He was killing those animals. And when he came there, Mrigrari and his wife, when they saw Narada Muni from a distance, they offered obeisances. And then, before coming towards Narada Muni, they were actually seeing the road if there are no ants. They were actually very nicely, very beautiful picture. Let me see if I can find 1 second. There's a very beautiful picture actually. Ah, yeah, this one. Let me share this tab. Why it is not showing? Yeah, okay. Let me stop sharing and share. Are you able to see my picture, which I shared?
Yes, Prabhu.
So you see this beautiful picture. What is Mrigrari doing? This is Narada Muni and this is Parvata Muni. There are few ants on the floor. He is taking a chadar, moving them so that they are not dead, so that he can offer his obeisances. He actually didn't offer obeisances, he wanted to offer obeisances. Can you imagine a person who is killing all the animals? This is another picture actually how he is killing animals half dead. A person who is killing animals half dead is being transformed, and now he is not even touching, making sure that I'm not killing anyone here, right? Not killing anyone here. And then when Narada Muni saw that, and he was so happy, and he said, how are you doing? The tears started flowing from his eyes. He went into ecstasy chanting the name of Krishna. The same person coming in association of Narada Muni and chanting that mantra, he actually went from the platform of Vaidhi Bhakti to RaghaNuga Bhakti. That is a power of spiritual master. That is a power of spiritual master. By coming in contact with Guru and Sadhu and following their instructions seriously, one can actually experience the highest level of devotional service. You all are with me so far? Okay. So now reading, you can see my Veda base. Is that right? The yellow screen?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. We will read this. Here is a general description. So what we discussed last week, this is where we ended. In this way, the path of argument, oh, this may be truth or that may be truth, right, will never be safe or conclusive. Srimad Bhagavatam recommends that one follow the footsteps of authorities. So now this paragraph is explaining that line. Here is a general description of devotional service given by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which is Nectar of Devotion we are reading. Previously, it has been stated that devotional service can be divided into three categories: devotional service in practice, devotional service in ecstasy, and devotional service in pure love of God. We saw the diagram, right? Now, Srila Rupa Goswami proposes to describe devotional service in practice, the first one which we saw. Practice means employing our senses in some particular type of work. But what kind of work? Not the material work. What happens today? If I have a free time, I will do WhatsApp, I will check internet, I'll watch news, I will do all shopping and nonsense. So we all have a time. We all have same 24 hours, but how we are utilizing that time decides whether we are going one step closer to Krishna or we are going one step closer to death. And technology is a barrier also, but it is an assistance also. Like for an example, for those of you, and again, I know what is compatible in Android, but I'm sure there would be. In iPhone, You have an application called as screen time. When you go there, it gives you how much time you're spending on the screen, and it also gives you detailed information which app you are using and how much time you are using. Clear indicator, not that someone else has to give you the highlight, where is your time going. If you see that app, I clearly see where is my time going. If my time is showing Facebook, if my time is showing WhatsApp or whatever it is, right? That is clear. I am wasting my time at that app, which means if I withdrew myself from that app, I'm free. Therefore, devotional service in practice means utilizing our different sensory in the service of Krishna. Like this one Mataji is there underneath, just in the temple. I enter the temple. She is working. She has a family. She has kids. She comes and brooms the temple. Why? Engaging the sensory organs in service of Krishna. I am free, I have a time. Why not I utilize that time in serving Krishna rather than serving my senses? Amazing example. And not that she does it today, she does it almost
Every day
every
she.
day. She comes and cleans the floor. Nobody is watching her, nobody has asked her, but she feels Krishna's temple is there, I want to clean. This is a beautiful example of using our sensory organs in service of Krishna.
Mm.
Some of the senses are meant for acquiring knowledge, right? Like eyes are there, ears are there, right? They are knowledge acquiring senses. And some are meant for executing the conclusions of our thinking, feeling, and willing. What is the purpose of mind? It is always thinking, feeling, or willing. So practice means employing both the mind and senses in practical devotional service. What is the meaning of practical devotional service? Whatever position you are in, if I'm a housewife, if I'm a homemaker, if I'm making food, let me offer to Krishna. And that is how it becomes prasad, right? So it's a practical devotional service. Whatever I have, if I have a mouth, if I can sing well, let me sing for Krishna, let me sing bhajans. If I know how to speak nicely, let's use that medium to preach, right? This practice is not for developing something artificial. For an example, a child learns or practice to walk. This walking is not unnatural. The walking capacity is there originally in the child. Simply by little practice, he walks very nicely. Even for us, if you see, if
If
for
sit
some,
for long time also, it's very
yeah,
difficult sometimes.
correct. Someone has some bone issue or whatever had happened, and then they have a fracture, and then they recover. After that, they feel, oh, I forgot walking. I can't walk. But that ability is there, but we lost the practice. Similarly, the devotional service to Supreme Lord is natural instinct for every living entity. Even uncivilized men like aborigines offer their respectful obeisances to something wonderful exhibited by law's nature. There are people who understand there is greater laws than what I can imagine, and they appreciate that behind some wonderful exhibition or action there is something supreme. And who's that? That supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. So this consciousness, though lying dormant in those who are materially contaminated, is found in every living entity. And when we engage our mind and senses in Krishna's service, slowly, gradually, it gets purified. And we develop that love for Krishna. There are certain prescribed methods for employing our senses and mind in such a way that our dormant consciousness for loving Krishna can be invoked. As much as the child with the little practice can begin to walk. One who has no basic walking capacity cannot walk by practice. So one has to at least start somewhere. When we wish to develop our innate capacity for devotional service, there are certain processes which, by accepting and executing them, will cause the dormant capacity to be invoked. So, first and foremost thing, I don't have a capacity itself. But when you start practicing sadhana bhakti, which I was mentioning about, practice level, it actually gives you also an appetite, a capacity to actually do practice. So, what is that? Every living entity under the spell of material energy is held by abnormal condition of madness. We all are mad. Nobody will say I am not mad. One time, um, in the mental asylum, the president of the country, he went there in mental asylum. We, in our language, we call it mental hospital.
Mm.
So he went there, and then there was a mad person, you know. So what did he do? He started pulling the shirt of the president. So his minister was there. He said, "You know who is he?" He said, "Who is he?"
What he knows.
He said, "He's minister of the country." He said, "I was also saying the same thing. They put me into the mental hospital." So which means we are same, right? Very beautiful actually analogy here. We all are in mental hospital. Don't think we are not mental hospital. But what am I thinking is I am thinking I am Krishna, right? And when someone else, even if at a higher position, say and a president or some other, like what new thing you are saying? I'm also a president. Right? I also said people are calling me mad. You are also mad. You also be here. So what is the new thing I'm doing? Everyone is mad after material possessions. I have this car, I have that car, or even in the car, I have a 2025 version, I have a 2024
Designations.
version. I am a manager, I am a
Direct.
director, I'm VP, senior VP, whatever it is. We are all mad after material possession. But if that same madness used in Krishna, when we get mad about Krishna, that is bhakti. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said generally the conditioned soul is mad because he is always engaged in the activities that are causes of bondage and suffering. The spirit soul in his original condition is joyful, blissful, and eternal, full of knowledge. And only by his implication in material activities has he become miserable, temporary, and full of ignorance. Why is it that? Because of our bad karma called as vikarma.
Mm.
That's why what we should do to get away with that, to really become mad after Krishna, is to practice sadhana bhakti. What does that mean? You come for Mangala Arati in the morning, and then you avoid anything which is not leaning towards Krishna. You accept Guru and offer your obeisances, pranams to your spiritual master, and follow the rules which are being established by the spiritual master. And when we do that, our madness will be converted from material madness to spiritual madness, which will relieve us from this bondage of birth and death. Very beautiful aspect, right?
Yes, Raj.
As a man's mental disease is cured by the direction of psychiatrist, same way the sadhana bhakti cures the conditioned souls of madness under the spell of Maya, material illusion. Narada Muni mentions this sadhana bhakti in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, first chapter, verse 32. He says to King Yudhishthir, "My dear king, one has to fix his mind on Krishna by any means, yena kena prakarena, whatever way, somehow try to engage your mind and body and senses in Krishna." So one may say, how do I engage? You hear about Krishna, you chant about Krishna, you read about Krishna, you preach about Krishna, you do Krishna's service, you cook for Krishna, you broom the temple, you come to take the darshan of the temple, distribute the books of Krishna, read the books of Krishna, sing for Krishna, eat for Krishna, cry for Krishna, laugh for Krishna, worship Krishna, offer prayers to Krishna. So many varieties there. Where is that option other than Bhagwan realization? The monis, the yogis, they go in the forest, close their mind, everything. They just restrain everything. We are having pizza, we are having pasta, and we are sitting and chanting. Can you imagine what can be the easiest process one can practice here, right? So that is, so he's saying that is called Krishna consciousness. It is a duty of Acharya, the spiritual master, to find the ways and means for disciple to fix his mind on Krishna. Like here, what did he do? He asked him, "Do you know?" Narada Muni asked him, "Mrigrari, you know what is going to happen?" And he gave him mantra and he followed. That is called a sadhana bhakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna and Srimati Radharani, has given us an authorized program for this purpose, centered around chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
When it is simple, we think, how can that be so simple? Krishna consciousness is simple but not easy. Why
Mm.
it is not easy? Because we are Kali Yuga headed, which means we think nothing can be straightforward. How, if you go on Amazon, the same product is, say, at some other place for $50, and here you see $1.
Yes, it was very
Your mind will
maybe,
say, how
maybe it is
how is that it is $1? Maybe it's a crap product, right? So here, when bhakti comes for free, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you can attain the highest perfection. How is that possible? That's why it is simple but not easy. It is so simple that you may you may miss it, right? So that's the example of Ambrish Maharaj. We will read in Srimad Bhagavatam after Nectar of Devotion. He would engage all his senses. He will use his feet to go to the temple. He will use his hands to cook for Krishna, or cleaning the temple of Krishna. He will use his sound, his voice, to sing the glories of Krishna. A very important part. We all actually, anytime when we are not doing, for an example, you're driving, you can hear about Krishna. You're standing in the line, you can sing the bhajan of Krishna in the mind. What is so wrong? You can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra while waiting for something. So much time we have, which we are wasting either for travel, either for just waiting somewhere, whatever it is. Use that time remembering Krishna, read about Krishna. Now, this sadhana bhakti or practice of devotional service may also be divided into two parts. We covered all this stuff. I'm just now getting into the right. The first part is called service according to regulative principles, which is one has to follow these regulative principles by the order of spiritual master, right? Or by the strength of authoritative scriptures. There is no question for refusal. I can't do it. No, we have to do it because we have to get out of cycle of birth and death. That is called as Vaidhi Bhakti or regulated Bhakti. One has to do it without argument. Why should I do that? Why do I do that? Why not this number? Why not that number? I don't have a time. I have this commitment. I have that commitment. Please, this is for you only. Nobody is going to gain a single penny out of it. Right? Another part of sadhana bhakti is called as RaghaNuga Bhakti, which refers to the point by following the regulative principles. Sorry, engage in devotion may be ordered to rise early in the morning and offer arti, which is a form of deity worship. In the beginning, by the orders of spiritual master, one rises early in the morning and offer arti, but then he develops real attachment. We have one devotee here in the community. His name is Kishore Krishna Prabhu. He comes every day for Mangala Arti. He has a job, he has a family, he has two kids. Every day morning he comes for Mangala Arti.
Mm.
In the beginning, by the order of spiritual master, one may rise early in the morning and offer arti, but then he develops real attachment. When he gets this attachment, he automatically tries to decorate the deity, prepare different kind of dresses, and thinks of different plans to execute a devotional service nicely. Very beautiful example I'll tell you from Vrindavan. This is very beautiful pastime. So near Govardhan, there was this very low caste person. In Hindi we call it as Bhangi. They are very low caste people. They are not allowed to actually come and take darshan of the Lord. So this was a small boy, but he was from the low class family. So sadhus will come on the Govardhan to take the darshan of the Lordship, and when they come down, this child would ask them, "But Swamiji, can you tell me how does Lord look like? What is he wearing? What ornaments he is wearing? How is he looking? Can you tell me which color he is wearing?" So he would ask those details. You know what he would do? He would actually on the mud, on the floor, like it's sandy part, right? Or it's a mitti bowl. In Hindi we call it a mitti. He would actually create the similar image of Krishna and Srimati Radharani on the land. whatever the sadhus explain, it went on daily. After certain period of time, without sadhus telling, before they go to take the darshan, he would have deities created and they will go there and see exactly same dress Radha Krishna are wearing. Can you imagine? This person never got to go into the temple, never saw the darshan of the Lord, but his attachment to Lord is so strong that he can actually meditate and he can actually see that beautiful form and create it on the ground. Imagine what kind of devotion it is. This is called as RaghaNuga Bhakti. When one has spontaneous love for Krishna, whatever restrictions are there, he, he's not allowed to go to the temple. He may argue why don't you know why Krishna never differentiate who should go and who should not go. Who are you? He could go into that argument. No, forget it. I don't want to do any of this stuff. I have nothing to do like that. No, with whatever limitations I may have, how can I serve Krishna? I'll tell you another story. A real story. I'm not saying you story, real thing actually. There is another devotee. He was in Washington D.C., not very far from where we are living. His name is Kuvera. He got a disease. His whole body started melting from inside. He would come to Mangla Aarti to the temple every Saturday without fail. And how would he come? Because his body will not support him, so he would not be able to drive the car. So he would come in the bus. And you all know bus stops at certain place and you walk and reach there. So he would come. One time there were some people behind him. They were in rush. They pushed him and he fell down on the floor. And he did not have a strength to stand up after he fell down on the floor. He was on the floor for few minutes. And somehow he managed to stood up and finally reached the temple with all the bruises and all that stuff he had, and was still in the same ecstasy, in the same happiness he experienced like he was there before. Every Saturday he would come. One time there was a birthday celebration for him. So they booked a huge hall for him. And in that hall, 30% were devotees, 30% were Christians, 30% were Muslims, and 10% other people. They each and everyone will come on stage and glorify him. That such a powerful person he is. He melted he melt with his devotion, he melted the heart of those people there. They were just crying to glorify him. That what a great person he is. Muslims were coming. Forget about devotees, but Muslims were coming, Christians were coming. That our heart is transformed by this person. One time, one prostitute came. She said, nobody offered me respect. I had to go into that profession because I did not have a good upbringing. But this person transformed my life. Now I have a family, I have kids, and I'm practicing devotional service. Started glorifying. Can you imagine a simple person, just because his love for Krishna is so strong, he is melting the heart of other people? Does he have any circumstance like us? We are good to walk. We are good to eat. We have good insurance. We have a car. We have a house. This guy has nothing, but he has devotion so strong. This is real devotion. So his name is Kuvera. Kuvera is actually a treasurer of all devatas. But what is the treasure he has? Not a material treasure, he has a spiritual treasure. Right? Rupa Goswami defines the first part of devotional practice or Vaidhi Bhakti as follows: when there is no attachment or no spontaneous loving service to the Lord, and one is engaged in the service of the Lord simply out of obedience. That's what we are doing, and we should be doing. to the order of spiritual master or scripture. Such obligatory service is called Vaidhi Bhakti. These principles of Vaidhi Bhakti are also described in Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, first chapter, verse 5, where Sukadeva Goswami is instructing Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit is actually meeting Sukadeva Goswami just for a week before his death. And king was perplexed. What should I do? I don't want to come again here. And what is Sukadeva Goswami is telling? My dear king, if you want to be fearless in meeting your death next week, Prabhupada, right? Actually, everyone is afraid point of that. But he's saying then you must immediately begin the process of hearing and chanting and remembering God. That's what he did. What did Parikshit Maharaj did? Hearing Krishna's message very attentively. When we are reading Nectar of Devotion, all of us have a responsibility to actually put our heart and soul into it. Even for I'm speaking this, to understand how critical it is for us to practice. In the statements of Sukadeva Goswami, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami recommends that one should always hear about Krishna. He does not recommend that one hear and chant about demigods. Nobody is writing in Srimad Bhagavatam to chant, to recite Lord Shiva's mantra, Brahma's mantra, Kali mantra, this mantra, that mantra. Nothing. Why? Because they do not give you freedom from cycle of birth and death, and that's what we want. Why are we suffering? Because we have a material body and because we have material desires. But in Bhagavatam, clear, don't go anywhere and waste your time. Just chant the name of Krishna. So Sukadeva Goswami has recommended to Parikshit Maharaj that in order to be fearless of that death, one has to hear and chant and remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He also mentions that Supreme Personality Godhead Sarvatma. Sarvatma means the super soul of everyone, even Devatas. Krishna is also mentioned as Ishvara, the supreme controller, the controller of all controllers. Therefore, if some way or other way we become attached to Krishna, he will make us free from all danger. What happened to Parikshit Maharaj? Very beautiful example. 7 days he heard. Before even Takshak actually bit him, he left happily. And he says that beautiful verse he writes. Now, anything which comes, I'm so attached to the lotus feet of Mukunda.
As he is a devotee, he would have got Payas Prabhuji, but he didn't pray for that because
Yeah,
Krishna, because he knows that I don't want to take that.
I
I
don't
want,
want to.
yeah.
If he would complain, why it happened to me? I am a king. I am the grandson of Yudhishthir. Why? 5 Pandavas. Why it is happening to me? He could have complained, right? But he didn't. He accepted whatever is coming on his way. But not just acceptance. He engages every breath in Krishna's remembrance. And suppose one does not develop Krishna consciousness and human form of life, he or she will be thrown into the cycle of birth and death, involving 84 lakh species of life, and the spiritual identity will remain lost. Again, we have to start from A for apple, B for bat, if we are human. I don't know what comes on our way. One does not know whether he's going to be a plant, a beast, or a bird, or something like that, because there are so many species of life. The recommendation of Rupa Goswami is to revive our Krishna consciousness, is that somehow or other we should apply our minds to Krishna very seriously and thus also become fearless of death. How do we engage our mind? Engage your body, mind will come wherever it is. When you are chanting, the mind will go here and there. Try to bring the mind back. That it's an urgency. After that, we don't know our destination because we are completely under the control of laws of nature. Bharat Maharaj, whose name actually, on his name actually, Bharat Varsh is there. India.
Super elegant.
What happened to him? He was a king and he left everything and going to the forest to remember Krishna. But at last minute, or just before he was leaving his body, he got attached to the deer and he was remembering him. And what happened to him in next life? He
He
became a
became a
deer.
deer.
Arey, imagine on his name the whole
Such a
Bharatvarsh
devotee.
is there. He was at a very high platform of bhakti, but got distracted and became a deer in his next life. What is our possibility? Don't think that when we die, we will not remember our bank accounts, we will not remember our cars, we will not remember our family members. The attachment.
There is one story, Prabhuji, like
Hmm.
for this next life, he will become with the snake and the dog. You
Yeah,
told once.
Kailash, I told many times. Kailash, a favorite name of mine. I said, what happened to him? Arey, again, became a snake, became a dog, then became a snake. We have no idea.
With the same family, nobody will identify him.
A sincere devotee will surely be transferred to the abode of Krishna. Let's be sincere. In Padma Puran, it says same process is advised there. It is said that one should always remember Lord Vishnu. This is called as dhyana or meditation, which is not applicable in Kali Yuga. So we remember Krishna by chanting his names. It is said that one has to meditate with the mind fixed upon Vishnu. Padma Puran recommended that one always fix his mind on the form of Vishnu by meditation and not forget him at any moment. The easiest part you can do is read Krishna book when you go to sleep. It'll rejuvenate your consciousness, remembering beautiful pastimes of Krishna.
It's kind of addiction, Prabhuji.
It's an addiction.
I got to know
Yes,
that after
beautiful.
started reading.
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you.
Then it's like, for others, I was saying to my friend, it's like for how for one people like smoking, drinking. For me nowadays, like whenever I'm free, I'm
Wow,
reading Bhagavatam. I already come in the fourth canto, so I'm so happy that
wow, wow.
I was so happy to share that, Prabhuji. Seriously,
Thank you,
I
Prabhu.
feel
Bimesh
very
Prabhu is
happy.
reaching to fourth canto. It's huge book. Every book we have to develop that attachment.
Attachment, yeah.
This life is very short. Don't think that, oh, I will do it later. I will do it later. We should always try to mold the activities of our life. Thank you for sharing, bro. We should always try to mold the activities of life in such a way that we will constantly remember Vishnu or Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Whether one concentrates his mind on four-handed form of Vishnu or on the two-handed form of Krishna, it is the same. Padma Purana recommends some or other always think of Krishna, Vishnu, without forgetting him under any circumstances. Actually, this is the most basic of all regulative principles. For when there is no order, there is an order from superior about doing something, there is simultaneously a prohibition. When the order is that one should always remember Krishna, the prohibition is that one should never forget him. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when anybody would go to seek a blessing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya will say, may you always remember Krishna, may you never forget Krishna. Right? Apparently you feel, oh, that's the same statement. No, but there has to be clearly, don't do this and do this. Right? The regulative principle is applicable to all varnas and ashrams. So there are four varnas we already read in Bhagavad Gita. What are those four varnas? Anybody?
Caste, Prabhuji.
What are the four
Brahmana,
varnas?
Kshatriya,
Ha,
Vaishya, and Shudra.
correct. Thank you. And what are the ashrams? You know it. Come on.
Mm,
What are the ashrams?
Grihastha, Brahmachari, Sannyasi. I mean, Vanaprastha something,
Vanaprastha
Guruji.
and
Yes,
Sannyasi.
just brahmachari comes first, then
Okay.
grasta, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Right? These are the four ashrams and four varnas are given. When one practices them sincerely, it doesn't matter whether one is a beginner, a brahmachari, or an advanced sannyasi. The principle of remembering God or Supreme Personality of God, constantly not forgetting Him at any moment, is followed by everyone without fail. If this injunction is followed, then other rules and regulation will automatically fall into line. Trust me, someone asked me this question on Saturday. How do you get time to manage all this stuff? And I was shocked because I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for that. How my life is running, how am I able to contribute? It's because I realize it's not me. I'm just an instrument. And time is expanding because Krishna wants me to whatever way he wants to use me, he's using. That's a reality. Nothing, nobody is special. Everyone is special. All other rules and regulations should be treated as assistant or servants to one basic principle. What is that principle? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This injunction or rule regulation, their resultant are mentioned in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th chapter, verse 2 and 3. Chamasamuni, one of the 9 sages who came to instruct King Nimi, addressed the king and said, the 4 social orders, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, have come out of the different parts of universal form of Supreme Lord. Not a man made all this ashram. They manipulated it and brought that, oh, Shudra like that and this, and then low caste, and caste is not the
Caste is
system.
not. That's what Prabhuji, I want to. While reading Bhagavatam, I feel like Brahma, like Vishnu, from Vishnu, Brahma came. Brahma is the creator,
Hmm.
and like Shiva also, Daksha, everybody is Vishnu, so, like devotees only.
Hmm.
I think there is no caste at all, Prabhuji. Just
Caste is a
just the
caste is a term which human brought in.
yes,
What we talk have the
scriptures.
varna and ashram.
Correct, correct,
So varnas is not equivalent to the caste.
correct, correct, Prabhuji.
So that's the
All
problem.
people made
It's
changes,
a
Prabhuji.
mess,
Yes,
bro.
yes, mess, Prabhuji. Yeah, after reading Bhagavatam, I am understanding a lot of things.
And it was actually, we read that in Bhagavad Gita, the Brahmanas have come from the head, the Kshatriyas have come out from arms, Vaishyas have come from the waist,
Yes.
and then the
Shudras
Shudras have
from the
come from
legs.
his legs. Similarly, the Sannyasis have come from head, Vanaprastha from arms, the Grasthas from the waist, and the Brahmacharis from the legs. These different orders of society and grades of spiritual advancement are considered in terms of qualification. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that 4 social order and 4 spiritual orders are created by Lord Himself. Right? For example, a Brahmana who is born out of the head of the Lord has his business to preach the transcendental Vedic sound and Shabda Brahman. Not that the Brahmana goes, oh, I'm a Brahmana now, you give me charity, you give me money, then only I'll do it. Like one time Yugal Kishore was mentioning very beautiful point. He said another temple, I don't want to quote the temple, right? So they wanted to perform some festival or whatever was there, but somehow they didn't have space for that. So they requested, can we rent your hall? He said, yeah. So said, how much? Our temple presence is free. You just use it. So they spoke, and then the final that program came, and then whoever was a Brahmana who was actually doing that worship, and he said to Yugal Kishore Prabhu, our temple president, you will get a lot of punya. He was very disturbed. He said, I don't want punya. I don't want punya. You keep your punya. I don't. This is not. I'm doing it for punya. Why? I don't know. I'm working hard in my devotional service to get out of the cycle of this punya and papa. And you're giving me punya. I don't want punya. I'm just doing everything for pleasure of the Lord. We don't do anything for pleasure of devatas. Why? Because I'll be stuck in cycle of birth and death. Again, to get the benefit out of it, I will have to take the birth again, and again I'll perform karma because I'm supposed to do it. I cannot live without performing karma, and I'll suffer again.
Yeah, if you do good, bad, both will be born
Because
again.
if it is good, I have to be born, and if I'm born again, I'll do karma. I don't have a control over it. Then I'll do bad karma again. I have to come for that. What is that cycle? It is not, however, that a Brahmana should simply eat on behalf of Lord and not preach the message of Bhagavad Gita. That's today's situation. Similarly, Kshatriyas are supposed to protect onslaughts of Maya. That is their duty. Like Maharaj Parikshit did not let Kali come, right? Because Kali was killing the cow. And Vaishyas are meant for producing agriculture product and trading them and distributing them. Today, it's a mess. The type of food we are eating, or cancer is such a common thing nowadays.
For 30 to 40 people are dying lot, Prabhuji, for heart attack nowadays.
What?
Today one actor died in Karnataka.
Wow.
33 years.
33. My goodness, what is happening in this world? Because the quality of produce, the food is very degraded. Right? Lord Krishna instructed Uddhava that by following the injunction of social and spiritual orders of human society, one can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as a result of such satisfaction, the whole society gets all necessities of life amply by without difficulty. This is the whole cycle of sacrifice. When you actually offer the fruits to Devatas, Devatas offer to Lord Vishnu. And what happens, because the Lord Vishnu is happy, then the rain comes and again the fruit grows, and we get that. That's a cycle. But today there is nobody offering sacrifice. There is nobody performing yajna, which means you are not offering to Vishnu. You're just consuming, consuming, consuming. The cycle is broken, right? This is similar statement by Sri Krishna himself to Uddhava in the 11th canto. What does it say? The Lord says, "My dear Uddhava, all the persons are engaged in activities, whether those indicated in revealed scripture or ordinary worldly activities. If by result of either of such activities they worship me in Krishna consciousness, they automatically become very happy within this world as well as in the next, because I will not take a birth." We can conclude from the statement by Krishna that activities in Krishna consciousness will give everyone all perfection and all desires. Thus, the Krishna conscious movement is so nice that there is no need of even designating oneself Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grasta, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. Let everyone be engaged in whatever occupation he now has or she has. Simply let them worship Lord Krishna by the result of his activities in Krishna consciousness. That will adjust the whole situation and everyone will be happy and peaceful within this world. In Narada Pancharatra, the regulative principle devotionals are described as any activities sanctioned in revealed scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, aiming at the satisfaction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, are accepted by saintly teachers as his regulative principles of devotional service. If one regularly executes such service unto Supreme Personality of Godhead under the direction of Guru, bona fide Guru, then gradually one rises to the platform of serving in pure love of God, which we discussed in the diagram. What is that pure love of God which is being spoken here? Can you imagine? This is what is being offered here, right? I'll stop sharing the screen. Can we summarize what we discussed today? What is the takeaway for everyone today? Okay,
From normal
Bimesh Pro.
bhakti to we have to move to RaghaNuga Bhakti.
From Vaidhi Bhakti, we need
Vaidhi
to
Bhakti.
move to RaghaNuga Bhakti. But how do we practice Vaidhi Bhakti?
We should do it. We
Okay,
should do it. Like we
okay.
have to chant.
Mm.
We have to follow regulative principles and all.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Anybody else here?
Hi, Prabhuji. So by the Bhakti, I do understand that way that you have to do bodily engagement, and then mind will come automatically.
Yes, both body and mind. You engage in Krishna's service. There are so many options. They're very nice, very nice. Which example, which story did I narrate on that part?
Um,
Mrugan.
Yeah, Mrigrari. Thank you. You all know it. It just
yeah.
teasing your mind. I know you all know it, but I'm just trying to pull in so that when you go, you try to think. When someone asks the question, like it happened when the question comes in question paper, you remember that next time. But if it doesn't come, it doesn't. You remember. So we gave an example of Mrigrari. Was he practicing just by coming in the association of Guru, right? Beautiful. So what else should we do in Vaidhi Bhakti? What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to engage our body and mind, specifically taking an example of Parikshit Maharaj? What did Parikshit Maharaj do?
As soon as he got curse, he will start hearing and chanting within 7 minutes.
Hearing and chanting. He did hearing and chanting by remembering Krishna, and he actually was fearless. We talked about why everyone is fearful when seeing the death. Because when you engage hearing and chanting, Prabhus and Mataji, I don't have a words to describe, but I'll tell you, I have seen it in front
Yeah,
of my eyes.
even me, from my father, I saw.
You become fearless about death. What is this death? Doesn't matter to me. I still remember when my wife was leaving, she had zero fear that I'm going to leave. She has no attachment thinking about what is going to happen to my small kids, whom she was attached the most. That's the power of bhakti. I was just sharing my mother. Whenever she would have a free time, she would read Bhagavatam. She most of after the children were born, she was mostly a housewife. So not that I'll just use the phone and I'll just waste my time on that one on Instagram and all that stuff. She used that time to read Bhagavatam. And even while working, whatever time she would have, she would read Bhagavatam, utilizing every moment, remembering Krishna. And Krishna took care of her. She left directly. Our temple president said her soul immediately left. We saw that soul leaving because he has such a bhakti, he has done such a bhakti, he can see things. Otherwise, what happens to ordinary people like any of us? The soul roam around for 12 days, and after that they have to go, and based on the karma we get the next birth. That's the reality. Let's understand that sincerely what exactly has to be done. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, so on that regard, excuse me, Prabhu, Mrigari's example, um,
Hmm.
after he became a devotee, then everything changes.
Hmm.
Before he became a devotee, what happened, even in our case, so what
Hmm.
happened to those part of our karma,
Very
past
good.
karma?
Fantastic question. Thank you for asking this. Holy name, if you even chant one time really sincerely, can destroy your janmas. It can destroy lifetimes of karma to zero.
Ajamil story.
Ajamil story. If you sincerely
Narayan.
chant the name of Krishna, of course, for Ajamil, he had to go because he did not call name of Lord Vishnu Narayan out of love. He called because he was calling his son. So he was given another life. His soul went back to his body, and he actually went to Haridwar and performed years of tapasya. Then he went back to God because he didn't call out of love. So one who chants the name of Krishna
With love.
with love and devotion, all his or her past lifetime and any lifetime karmas are everything is destroyed.
Mm.
That's the power we have. No real. I'm thinking about myself. I wish I remember this line and chant holy name with that intensity. My Lord, you're so merciful. Just chanting this mantra, if I can put my heart into it, I can be delivered from the cycle of birth and death. Did I answer your question, Kalamataji?
Yeah, yeah. So that's where I connect those. The conditioned mind is mad, so become mad after Krishna bhakti.
Ah,
So that way,
yes.
so everything is transformed into Krishna bhakti.
Krishna within Mataji, when you go in front of your spiritual master, when you perform that yajna, you will feel so light. I'll tell you. You will feel so light because spiritual master takes all your karma. When you take initiation, right mood and right attitude. What to talk about Krishna, what he can do, spiritual master can do, representing Krishna. So yeah. Okay. I am 1 minute over time. Any final questions or comments?
Prabhuji,
Okay.
from the example of I missed the first 20 minutes of the class, Prabhuji, but
No problem.
I got all the points. No, I think everyone covered. So what I understood, Prabhuji, the example of Kuvera. So
Beautiful. I forgot that. This is very close. This pastime is very close to my heart.
yeah, so what I
Chant
understood, uh, we should not be, tightly coupled with our material
jealous.
body or material roles. We should be focused on the bhakti. I mean, you said
Yeah.
yes, without missing, Mangalarati, even though he has so much of suffering. Yeah. So we need that
Can you
intention.
imagine your whole body melt? Yeah. What we have today, trust me, if you compare with this situation, you would say, what reason do I have not to chant? What reason do I have not
The
to
Prabhuji,
wake up
his
early?
name is still there.
He left this
Uh,
world. He left this
his
world.
name is Kuwari.
Kuvera.
Kuwera.
Kuvera is the treasurer of all devtas.
Mhm.
That's what his spiritual master gave him that name. His spiritual master, who is himself Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he also left in a similar way. That's a reality, Prabhus and Mataji. We don't have a lot of time left. Please, whether you want or you don't want, whether you are able to or not able to, forget about all that stuff. Please take up bhakti seriously. Chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles. From today, please, I have a humble request to everyone. And if you are chanting 16 rounds, please try to read, 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 and read. Very important.